Hey guys, just back from the show of shows, and when I'm walking a gun show up and down the aisles, this is the kind of stuff that catches my eye. That's right, World War II, World War I, collectibles, US, especially German. And when I see something like this on a table, I don't even stop. I just keep right on walking. But I got back from the show, and this had walked in the door. And stay tuned, check it out, because this actually has a really cool story. Okay, as I already alluded to, I didn't know a whole lot about this, although I did recognize it as a Barrett sniper rifle. But other than that, I didn't know much about it. It's not something I collect. This is a modern gun. This actually was used in Desert Storm. And the reason I got suddenly interested is because this gun is documented in this book by serial number. You can see here, this is serial number 974. Also right underneath it, it says US. Now it's documented in this book, and there's a certificate that says that it was sent for Desert Storm. 100 of these Barretts went to Saudi Arabia for the US Marine Corps. So this was definitely used in Desert Storm. 1991, went to Saudi Arabia and then participated in the liberation of Kuwait. The book has a lot of interesting information about the gun itself, but it was actually used in combat by the U.S. Marines. So now suddenly it piqued my interest. Now most of you will recognize this, and as I said, I never really paid much attention to it. It is in .50 caliber. Here we're going to show somebody shooting it. You'd think it would have a really big kick, but these guys must have been trained on it, because you can see they don't have much of a kick. But I did see a woman shoot it, and it knocked her backwards. So I do know that it has a kick. Let's talk a little bit about the history of the rifle. Okay, a couple features. This does have the bipod in the front. Listen to this action. It's rock solid. You don't want to put your finger in there. I'll do that again. And the magazine comes out really easily. Just push this button. It falls right out. That's a 10-round magazine, again, .50 caliber, single shot, semi-automatic. It goes back in easily as well. And let's get that one more time. Okay, the history of the gun. It's kind of an interesting story. The creator of or designer of the Barrett was Ronnie Barrett. Now, he was a photographer, but he did a lot of war pictures, Vietnam and things like that. And so he was enamored, taking pictures, he was enamored by the .50 caliber M2 heavy machine gun that was usually mounted on a patrol boat, an armored personnel carrier. Actually, planes use .50 caliber machine gun. So it's known as a very powerful round when you really want to take down something big. So he reasoned that the .50 caliber as a machine gun would not be that accurate, and he would be correct. When you shoot the M2, I never have. I've actually been on a range when they've been shot right next to me. I think they were charging like $100 a second or something like that. So I never shot one, but they are all over the place, meaning that they shake the whole, they shake the earth almost. And when you shoot them, you can see the dust underneath the machine gun just spout out. So I've seen them shoot. I've seen them shoot a junker car and just tear it to pieces. But it's not real accurate. And so even though this is called a sniper rifle, it's technically not a sniper rifle. And to back me up on that, as I said, I didn't know much, but whenever I want to find out something about a modern gun or something like this, I go to Ian McCullum's channel, Forgotten Weapons, and he talked about the misnomer of this being called a sniper rifle. The reason is, if you wanted, a sniper is usually thought of somebody who takes out a particular target. They're targeting a person, they're targeting a general or a sniper. And to take out a person, you definitely don't need .50 caliber. In fact, he points out that for shooting accurately from a distance, you probably want bolt action. Now, semi-automatic is okay, but bolt action is better. And you want a smaller round. It doesn't drop as much, it's lighter, it goes further. So he was saying like 5.56 or 308 or even 223. It'll do the job. You don't need .50 caliber. In fact, I would conjecture in my own head before I heard about this, I thought, why would you assassinate somebody? If you shoot them in the head, their head will disappear. If you shoot them in the torso, they just turn to powder. It just explodes. And that is the other advantage of the 50 caliber, because the smaller bullets, all you have is a copper jacketed bullet, and there's not much nuance to it. You just need the lead at a high rate of speeds, and it will do the job. However, for these, the 50 caliber has a lot of nuance because you can use armor-piercing rounds, you can use explosive rounds. So Ronnie was surprising, not a military man, but again, a photographer who has an idea, and his thought, you know, when you want to take out a single target, a small caliber, long range, you know, quality scope will do the job. If you're taking out a wall or personnel, such as let's say a Toyota with some bandits in the back and a machine gun, or a suicide bomber, you can get a 50 cal, but they're bouncing all over the place. I'm acting this out, by the way. They're bouncing all over the place, and so it's not very accurate. When all you need from a long distance, so 500 yards or more, to take out ordnance, to take out a truck, to even anti-tank round, you don't have to be spot on, meaning you don't need a real powerful scope. All you need is a single accurate shot to the engine block, and it'll do the job, especially with a explosive round or armor-piercing round. So this is not a personnel weapon, taking out personnel. This is really a sniper or a quality semi-automatic weapon for material fire, taking out material. He said in Iraq, both Iraq wars, at night they would see some people setting up an IED. They simply can target the IED and with an explosive round blows it up and blows up the bad guys with it. As I said, a suicide bomber from 500 yards away comes speeding toward a checkpoint. You know it has bad guys in it. You take out the engine block. He actually gave the example of mortar rounds, munitions. Way off in the distance, there's an artillery battery, and all of their rounds are stacked up in crates right behind it. He said from a very long distance, you can target one of their crates with an explosive round and take out the entire battery unit. So again, it's anti-material rather than anti-personnel. I wasn't sure I really understood that, and that's because I didn't pay much attention. Now I did. U.S. Marine Corps went in 1991. By the way, the first contract of these was in 1989. The designation for this is the M82A1. Military uses a lot of A1s, but the M82. The first order in 1989 was from the Swedish military, and then in 1990, a year later, the U.S. military started ordering a lot of these. This is a contract of 100 that went to Saudi Arabia for Operation Desert Storm. Oh, and the other thing, it shows them digging up the dirt, meaning they knew that they had a minefield in front of them, and this would target. They could see the indentations from the mines, and when you shoot the dirt, it'll plow up some dirt. Here's some of the film that I saw of this being used against a target. In this case, we have cinder blocks, we have watermelons, a little bit of everything, but you can see the recoil and also the damage that this can do.
Firing.
One final demonstration. It does have a handle. This is pretty heavy. I think it's about 30 pounds. I think I already mentioned a 10-round magazine, which of course adds some weight as well. And the 50 caliber, in case you're not familiar with that caliber, here's a 50 caliber compared to some more common rounds that people use, such as the 5.56 and the 2.23. But it is a heavy load, and again, often armor-piercing, explosive, or incendiary rounds. To take it apart is really simple. You just pull the bolt back. I'm not going to do it. If you want to see it, Ian does demonstrate it on his treatise on this particular gun. See these two pins? You just pull this out, pull the bolt back, and it just lifts right up. I'm not going to do it because this is pretty complicated here. But again, cost of these, for one issued to the military with a history that this has, it's going to be about $20,000. It does say U.S. Marine Corps right here, and a serial number there, serial number back here. But generally, this has some military history, which raises the value. It's definitely not for everyone. There's a lot of ranges that won't let you even use it on their range. We hope to get out and fire this one day, but it will be available on our website if you have interest in it. Hey, thanks for watching. I learned something new just because this walked in the door. I hope you learned something too. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel because I have a lot of, well, actually, you never know what's going to walk in the door, and this is a good example.